As a general rule, most of the guidance in my personal life seems to come from the disembodied voices from deceased US presidents that no one else seems to hear. But I found those to be unreliable, so I'm making my own video series about just guided rhythm practice, just different things that you can do on guitar. We're going to go through 3 different time signatures and different ways to play all the chords in the key of C. So just play along. If you ever fall out of time, just wait for everything. You don't have to do everything exactly how I do it. And if you get bored, you can just jam around in the key of C, C major pentatonic, A minor pentatonic, and we're going to go through all the chords right now. Also, I have a very similar lesson to this with all the chords in the key of F over on my Patreon with like 100 other different lessons that'll take you no matter where you are in guitar in an ordered way. All right. So before we get to the strumming pattern, the main 7 chords in the key of C. C major. Okay. Now, I'm going to play these a certain particular way. You can play the chords however you want. This is more of a rhythm practice, but the way I'm going to do them is going to be what I consider to be the most efficient fingerings to play in this context. Okay, so traditional C major looks like this. D minor, I've got my pointer finger on 1E, my pinky on 3B, my middle finger on 2G is going to be the 2 chord. The 3 chord is E minor, tried and true, 2A and 2D. The 4 chord is F major, okay? I'm gonna play F like this instead of the bar chord way. So where it's just the middle 4 strings are what I'm aiming for. 3, 3, 2, 1. G major with my root note as my ring finger. 3, 2, open, open, 3 with my pinky. I just think that's more efficient, but again, what you wanna do it. A minor, and then B minor 7 flat 5 as the 7 chord. 2A, 3D, 2G, 3B. Okay, so for the first pattern, it's going to be 4/4 timing. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and D minor. 3 and 4, and D. 2, 3, and 4, and E minor. 2 bars of each, okay? Then F major. You'll notice I'm strumming these with a little bit of dynamic to it. I'm trying to get the root of the chord. A, 2, 3, and 4, and A, 2, 3, and 4, and B minor 7 flat 5. So there's a little bit of a dynamic, but play them however you want, okay? C, 2, 3, and 4, and D minor. E minor. F. Half diminished. Back to C. This would be a great time to tell you what great taste in YouTube channels you have. I'm so glad you're here instead of Samurai Guitarist's channel. A minor. There's that B chord that you may not be used to. And then back home. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and D minor. E minor. F. Can't strike everything perfectly, just try to get on the downbeat for the next chord. Back to C. It's important to start thinking of these chords as numbers in the scale. This is the 1 chord in the key of C. D minor is the 2 chord in the key of C. E minor is the 3 chord. The 2 and 3 chords are always minor in any key. F is the 4 chord, major. G is the 5 chord, major. A minor is the 6 chord, otherwise known as the relative minor. 7 chord isn't major or minor. It's called half diminished. Back to C. You can try palm muting it to maybe do a different type of practice. I'm just laying my hand across the bridge to get more of a muted attack, but the same vibe and rhythm is going to the 4 chord. 2, 3, and 4, and G. A minor, 6, 7 is B, and then open it up again. Really try to focus on hitting that root note on the 1 count. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and just hitting the A string on that F. Just the E string on the G chord on the 1, 2, 3, and 4, and A. B. One more time. The 2 chord. Notice that my hand isn't wild. It's really kind of just in the vicinity of the strings. There's not a lot of wasted motion. A minor. B, half diminished. Then end on C. Okay? Now that's just 4/4 timing. We did 2 bars of each. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and with a little bit of a dynamic. The next most common time signature that we use is in 3. So we're going to do the same chords, but we're going to count to 3 now. So it's going to be a slightly different pattern, and it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and D. E, 2, 3, and E, 2, 3, and F. Everything is the same except the time signatures change. 1, 2, 3, and 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 E. You can count this as 6 if you want. Like go 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, and again, I think it's easier to count 3 twice. A, 2, 3, and A. Another G where you just move that 2 frets higher, a different voicing. If you want to practice different chord voicings, that's fine. We're just going to do everything in time. Again, if you have trouble switching chords on time, leave 1 chord early. I'll I'll demonstrate that in a second. 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and C, 2, 3, and C, 2, 3, and D minor. See how I just left that chord early? Just try to keep your strumming hand going. Even if you have to whiff. G. Whatever you have to do to buy your hand time to get to the next chord on time. Now let's palm mute, or I'm going to palm mute at least. One, two, three, and 1, 2, 3, and 1. You do bar chord if you want, if you're so inclined. Move that 2 frets higher from the G. You can do it with the A minor too. To the B. Another bar chord. Palm muted to D minor. I'm going back to those bar chords here for the F and the G. The 5 chord, the 6 chord, relative minor, A minor. Then let's open it up again. Counting out loud can help sometimes. 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, and end on C. Okay? So that would be a waltz. 3/4, 6/8 time signature, however you want to cut it up. It's got the same chords, just a different vibe. It's just a small tweak, but it can be difficult to kind of navigate in and out between those time signatures, or to be able to recall them quickly. Now, a more uncommon odd time signature would be 5/4, so that's a really helpful one to practice a little bit. I really think the best way to get into 5/4, something I had trouble with when I first started out, is to actually count to 3 and 2. So, for example, instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, counting it like that really helped me solidify the sound of a bar of 5. So, in the key of C, it would be 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, A, 2, 3, and 1, 2, B, 2, 3, and 1, 2, C, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Okay, so that was the shortest one of the ones we've done, just because playing and ending on 5/4 being the last thing you do will haunt you in your dreams. I swear, every time I'm working on a song or something and I'm like mixing a song that's in a weird time signature and I try to sleep, I can't sleep, because if it's the last thing I have going on in my head, it just keeps repeating. And that's just kind of like the weird thing about certain odd time signatures, at least with me, when the spirit of Franklin Delano Roosevelt isn't trying to communicate with me. All right. So I want to go back to 4/4 and do just kind of one last rhythm pass through, but I want to do them with extended chords. So we're going to do the 7th chords of each of these. Basically, all of them are going to be different chords, but based on the same root triad, extended one. So let's go over the voicings really quick. Instead of C major, we're going to have this voicing of C major 7. Okay? So we're just adding a B, and we're adding it by actually taking your pointer finger off of the B string to open up that B. So I'm getting my ring finger on the low G to make it an inversion, C/G. 3, 3, 2, open all the way up, all right? Now let's actually go into maybe a bar chord form for the D minor 7, okay? So 5A, 7D, 5G, 6B. Again, you can play regular D minor, any D minor type voicing that you want to do. We'll use right there. For E minor, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go 2 frets higher. All right. F major, let's do the exact same one. It's F major 7. I want to play this G7, okay, where it's 3E, 2A, 3D, 4G. And again, you can get the B string open and the high E string open if you want. I'm just going to aim for the bottom 4, the lowest 4 strings. A minor, we'll do this one right here. A minor 11, 5E, 5D, G, and 3B. And then we'll keep B just how it was, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and C. 2, 3, 4, and C. Major 7. D minor 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, and E. 2, 3, 4, and E. 2, 3, 4, and F. 2, 3, 4, and F. 2, 3, 4, and G. 7. A minor 11. If these voicings are unfamiliar to you, just use the traditional ones, and then maybe try to get one in. Major 7, 1 chord. Minor 7, 2 chord. D. Minor 7, 3 chord. Chord. 5 chord dominant 7, G7. 6 chord minor 11. Notice how I'm leaving early to get to the next chord on time. Leave early to the C. Remember, just strum it if you can't get there all the time, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and keep the count. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So you can challenge yourself if this is difficult. Just try to find a way to try to play part of the chord in time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and B. 2, 3, 4, and B. 2, 3, 4, and one more time around. 7. F major 7. G7. A minor 7. B minor 7 flat 5. And then end, as always, unresolved on a major 7 chord. Cool, so you made it all the way through. Congratulations. Definitely, feel free to save this video or rip it or download it or whatever. And if you find it to have value to it, just keep coming back to it. Let me know what other types of guided lessons that you would like to see. Otherwise, I'm just going to come up with ideas from whatever these disembodied voices end up continuing to tell me. And make sure to check out the Patreon for another couple of guided lessons that I have there in different keys and always are being added every single week. So thanks a lot.